Let's close with this one. Rodney Bax, because this is a question where the rubber meets the road right here. How do you, as a father, profess the love of God to a teenage daughter that has all the influence of the spirit of the age? There's no formula here that works 100%. Because human beings are not algorithms and they're not formulas. Okay? Ultimately, your teenage daughter, what happens between her and God is ultimately between her and God. Ultimately. And ultimately, not your responsibility. But that doesn't mean you have no role to play either. Here is what is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to not give her reasons to cop out. Your responsibility is to not be the kind of father or husband, because she's watching very carefully what kind of a husband you are too. Your responsibility is to not be the kind of father or husband that gives her sinful heart permission to do what it wants to do, because all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. None would choose him. We don't want the love of Christ. We reject it. That's why it's called grace. We don't want it. Our goal as a father is to not be the kind of husband or father that gives them an excuse beyond their own sinfulness. Dad was a tyrant. Dad was a hypocrite. Dad didn't care. Dad was lazy. Dad didn't work. Dad wasn't brave. Dad wasn't courageous. Dad wasn't authentic. Dad wasn't empathetic. Don't feed their sinful nature. Don't feed that narrative. Ultimately, what happens between your daughter and any of our daughters and any of our children and Christ is between them and Christ. But our goal is to model the most authentic relationship between ourselves and Christ that we possibly can. So that ultimately, he can get them one-on-one. Because our own fallibilities aren't getting in the way. So your job is to finish the race. Your job is to live an authentic Christian life. I didn't say perfect. So when you fail, own it. Repent. Admit it. But your job is to not feed her ego, not feed her rebellion, not give her excuses and false objections. So that makes it clear now that ultimately it's her and her Lord one-on-one. And she has nobody else to blame or to transfer her own responsibility to. And you did that. You ran your race. The thing we have to understand is not everyone will be saved. Many are called, but few are chosen. And that could very well be some of our own children. And I can't even envision any of my children not spending eternity with me. But none of my children deserve eternity. Because nobody's children do. I don't. So my goal is to live a life as authentically Christian as I can, so that their conscience becomes pricked, rather than transferring their responsibility and their own sinfulness unto me to give them an excuse. Don't be the kind of husband or father where your kid's on YouTube one day making stupid videos about deconstructing the Christian faith that frankly almost any of us here could completely deconstruct ourselves, as Rush used to say, with half our brain tied behind our back. All because dad wasn't home enough. Dad didn't do enough. Don't feed the ego. Don't make it easy for their sinful nature. That's what I would urge you to do, and all the dads to do.